Whew. Welcome to Legobrat 86's review of Rise of Skywalker, or Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Factor crap. That's what I'm calling this video. These are my initial thoughts. I just finished seeing it at like 2:55. I reflected on my thoughts real quick, and I'm posting this video right now. So I thought the movie was good enough. Could it have been better? Yes. Could it have been so much worse? Yes. But I came in with an open mind, and I think it was good enough for what it was trying to convey. Disney did, in my opinion, cram two films into one. They did cram too much, and the way that they cut the film doesn't help the way that they were doing the film in the first place. So that is my initial take, and then I would have loved to have seen maybe some response from Disney saying, hey, Rian Johnson can have his own movie at his own time, but his number 8 is not the number 8 for this trilogy. This is the number 8, and then number 9 will come in the next video, instead of continuing on from the crap show that was Star Wars Episode 8. But all in all, I think what they were trying to convey was good enough. I did like that they actually incorporated Rey's background to being Palpatine's granddaughter. But all in all, for me, there was too much action, not enough focus on the story. I mean, there was enough action for 2 Star Wars films, but there wasn't that clear focus on getting the story across the way that it needed to go. As a fellow moviegoer, as a really, really intuitive moviegoer, as myself, I like seeing story more so than politics and agendas thrown into the movies just because they need to be. Not because they have to be. Not because the person that owns the studio wants it doesn't mean that it has to make it into the film. Just because it is part of that doesn't mean it has to make it into the film. I would have loved if that news report we had gotten from Disney saying, oh yeah, we filmed all the Force ghosts to heal Rey, and even Kanan Jarrus, which I never even watched Rebels, so really I have nothing against or nothing for this individual in the actual filmography of the cartoon. The last Star Wars cartoon I watched was the Clone Wars, so I have nothing to do with what they did. So I'm just going by what I know. I know that Freddie Prinze Jr. has done a good job as, what's his name? Kasdan, whatever. His name is the Jedi that trained, Kanan Jarrus, the Jedi that trained Kasdan, I believe. Like I said, if I'm wrong about that, leave it in the comments. I don't watch the Rebels animated series. I don't even watch The Resistance because I don't have Disney Plus. To me, Disney Plus doesn't have enough background for me to actually purchase it. Yeah, I could watch all 45 years of The Simpsons, severely edited, of course. But who wants to do that when they can just go onto a YouTube channel and search for The Simpsons and see what they want to see? That's where my thing is. But for me, I don't mind paying for it if I need background information for movies, but I wish that they wouldn't like bring Star Wars or bring Marvel into that type of thing. Yes, I loved Marvel Agents of Shield. Yes, I loved all of that storytelling. I've watched bits and pieces of The Mandalorian that I have been able to find online and watch without watching Disney Plus. But I'm not gonna buy Disney Plus if it's just gonna be on the internet 3 days later on a torrent site where I can just watch the entire franchise. But for me, it's not about stealing intellectual property. It's about putting my money where my mouth is. I wanted to see what the end of the Star Wars trilogy would look like, this 9-part series, and it let me down. It let me down because for what was supposed to be the unification of good versus evil and the saving grace of Star Wars, it didn't come across that way. It didn't come across as wonderful, wondrous storytelling like I had intended. Like I would have wanted as a fan of Star Wars and as a fan of any good story told movie. In fact, I saw Jumanji last night and I thought it had a better laid out story because it followed the original story. Maybe a couple things were changed from the book about Jumanji, but at the same time, they follow the source material to the T. I would have loved to see if I would have been impressed if Disney Star Wars had actually chosen the George Lucas cut that had an 84% score amongst Star Wars fan base, because they did invite, it had the lowest score amongst critics, but it had the highest score amongst fans, actual fans. So I would have loved to have seen that cut instead of the cut that we got, which I think is the Kennedy cut, because that was the one that was supposed to be the worst. I felt that this movie was just too disjointed because it was all crammed into one movie. They could have made two, and I would have been fine with it. But they didn't have. They could have just said, "Hey, Rian Johnson's film. Yes, it was critically acclaimed, but by critics, but it was not a film that reflected what Star Wars needed. The worlds in it are canon. The story itself is not." I would have been so much more happier if Disney would have just come out and said that and said, "Hey, we're getting this. We're getting our director, J.J. Abrams, to redo 8, do 9, and then be done with Star Wars for good for the time being." I like the world building that Jon Favreau's doing. I wish that they would not have destroyed Legends, and I wish that they would not have destroyed LucasArts. I think that that would have made the powerhouse lineup of Disney games, because Disney has made good games in the past. As a video gamer, I know what a good game is. They have made really good games in the past. LucasArts would have taken that up and beyond what could be done currently by Disney. It's sad to see that everything George Lucas worked his butt off for was destroyed by the Sith. This is Darth Legobrat signing off. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Darth Disney and Darth Mickey Mouse. And I hope to see you on the dark side of the Force, my young apprentices. Bye.